Hi, my name's Dee, and welcome to Sunchild Tarot, and welcome to your new moon reading for the sign in the title below. Because it's a bulk introduction, which you don't have to watch every time, because I would say you really want to watch three of these. You want to watch your sun sign, which is the I am, your rising sign, which is how you are presenting to the world, what is happening in the outer world for you, and you want to watch your moon sign because, of course, it's the moon. It's a new moon. Of course, your moon sign would be relevant. Now, I'm not going to go in for long about the astrology of the new moon. There are plenty of astrologers who have done it far better than I ever could, and all of their shows are posted on my Facebook page for this channel, which link down below in the description. So if you're wanting to know about the astrology of it, you have plenty of astrologers to choose from on there. Suffice to say, it's big. It's a big full moon. There is a stellium in Aquarius. So what have we got? We've got Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, with Saturn ruling, in Aquarius. Now, it is not the age of Aquarius. I don't care what various people say. It is not the age of Aquarius, and as I've said before, the age of Aquarius will not begin until tropical, i.e. Western traditional 0 degrees Aries, is the same position as sidereal Aquarius. At the moment, it isn't. 0 degrees Aries is sidereally some of 22, 21, 22, maybe 23 degrees Pisces. So there's a while yet. I think that's right. I think it's there's a 22 involved in there somewhere. But anyway, it's in Pisces. It is not in Aquarius. However, this is a really big time of Aquarius, and there's no shaking that. We have numerous planetary synodic cycles starting. Let me bring my details up. So we've got just this week alone, and there's been a fair amount over the past few weeks, but just this week alone, I mean, bear in mind, this is all under the Great Conjunction. But we have a new Venus-Saturn cycle starting. Obviously, a new Sun-Moon, but that's a monthly one. A new Sun-Mercury, that's quite frequent. A Venus-Jupiter synodic cycle starting, Mercury-Venus cycle, and Mercury-Jupiter. So, it's very much, this is a new time coming in. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's all these new, some of those were that's all a lot of the personal planets, the inner planets. So they're small cycles, but we've just had all the massive big cycles, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Jupiter, Saturn, I should say, Saturn, Pluto as well. So we know they all restarted before Christmas. Before Christmas? I think they were all before Christmas. I should know that off by heart, shouldn't I? I talked about every single one of them. Now, there is a timestamp below, so you don't have to watch this repeatedly. You only have to watch this on the first reading. It's well worth it. What I want to look at is the angels, the degree angels. Now, I never thought I'd going to be an angel person. But the degree angels are the Kabbalistic angels, who are very traditional, mighty and terrible. So, of course, I'm drawn to them like a moth to a flame. Now, this new moon, 23 degrees Aquarius, that's ruled by Menadel, who most people will be glad to know that he's great for job seeking. So if the economy and the virus and all the economy crash and what have you has affected you, now is a great time to ask for some help in job seeking and redesigning what you want to do next, because that's a lot of this Aquarius stuff. It will exhibit in community with an independent streak, which may sound like a bit of an oxymoron, but I think I've got my head around that idea. Um, so you, a lot of it is internal right now that you will be later putting into practice. But that is, so Menadel, let me bring up my details here. You'll have to forgive me, I am referring to notes. I don't know all this off by heart. Menadel, as a degree angel, is seen as fearless and presiding over inner and outer work. And there's definitely this theme of the inner and the outer work going on with everything, everything that I've been looking at to do with this. Now, Menadel has been active. Let's have a look. Menadel was active last March and April, which I think was, let me just double check this. I think that was Uranus. Yep, with Uranus at 5 degrees Taurus. And then there was obviously Mars arrived at 5 degrees Taurus in January. And now Menadel is ruling 23 degrees Aquarius. Those rulerships don't change. I know the way I phrase that, it makes it sound like they do change, but no, they don't change. Now, Menadel here is like everybody being ruled by Saturn, so being ruled in this case by Luvia. Saturn is the ruler of this chart. If you do rulership chains, everything leads back to Saturn, mainly because everything's in Aquarius. Of course, I'm using ancient rather than modern rulerships there. You could say everything also goes back to Uranus, but Saturn and Uranus are in square to one another anyway, and that is the flavour of this year. That tension, that tradition versus independence. Now, Luvia is all about dialing God and expansive intelligence or fruition, although I couldn't find any more information out from the Dictionary of Angels because he's not in there, or she's not in there. But what I actually want to look at is Mahasya. Now, Mahasya rules 22 degrees Capricorn. So as you know, that had a lot of activity this last year. So today, or rather on the new moon, Mahasya is ruling the North Node. So is being ruled by astrologically the angel Rael, who is representing Mercury, or Mercury's degree, but again, then in Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, therefore ruled by Luvia in this chart. Now, Rael is about removing hatred, liberation. Rael helps to remove obstacles and impediments and to live in a universe without boundaries. Now, if that is not an Aquarius flavour, I don't know what is. So that also is just that one step less abstract than what Luvia is about. Luvia literally seems like it's channeling the divine plan that down into a way that not that we can understand, because we're never going to be able to understand that, but at least that something may be able to understand it. But Marcia, as I said, was in control of 22 degrees Capricorn. So last year, that's Menadel's history I'm looking at. Last year, Pluto was there. Jupiter crossed over it. Mars crossed over it very, very briefly. And basically, Mahasya was busy going from the 1st of January last year, because that's where my records start, that I've got programmed into my database. Then it was active from the 1st of the year to the 19th of January. From the 16th of March through to the 21st, again in July for a couple of days, then 5th and the 6th, and then the 10th of July, all the way through, and this will be through Pluto, Oh no, all the way through to the end of November, again on Christmas Day, again on New Year's Eve, I notice, and then, okay, my records aren't complete, but that's what I've managed to dig out so far. Mahasi has been doing a lot of work with the energies of Pluto, with, as that energy of Pluto was deconstructing and doing what Pluto does, Mahasya was adding her flavour to it. Then Jupiter crosses over, giving that boost to the Mahasya vibration. Then Mars. So giving that kick in the pants to the things that had already been set up. And now the North Node. This has all been constructing stuff regarding our density. Well, yeah, our density, if you speak New Age hippie stuff, but our destiny. Deconstructing things, reconstructing things, building things, changing structures, removing and rebuilding structures ready for this whole new time. Now, what is Mahasya's vibration? So Mahasya is about healing and rectification, setting things right. He's a seraph. He's part of the Sephirah of Kether, so that the highest Sephiroth, and he answers to Metatron, and he's a fire, represents fire. And planetary angels are Neptune and the Sun. His name means Saviour God, apparently. So this is what everything is slowly being built up. Hopefully that's expressing in all of us and all of our lives, where this Mahasya's energy is creating, building and moving and getting us to a place that is going to be better. That's the hope. I mean, obviously, it's reliant upon our cooperation to this, with this, and our openness to it. But it is really the way his focus has shifted from smashing things to now, okay, destiny, this way, I think is really quite beautiful. Now, what other information have I got about Mahasya here? He re-establishes the order of the divine in your life, makes it possible to live in total peace and joy, and to enjoy the simple things in life, and can help you into schools of learning where you can pursue forms of initiation. Now, that peacemaking energy is going to be very, very useful, because there's also all the divisions are being highlighted to us, but they are being highlighted because of this healing process. Now, what I want to look at is the symbols for 23 degrees Aquarius. So I'm going to start with the Sabian symbol. Which is a man turning his back on passion and teaching from his own experience. So this is talking about someone who has been fighting their good fight, whatever it is, or having their obsession, and then all of a sudden they're suddenly going, I've learned so much from this, I have to pass this knowledge on. So they're transferring from, to be facile, but it would work in today's culture, from being an active social justice warrior to training active social justice warriors, would be one way of looking at it. I mean, you could replace active social justice warrior with carpenter, and oh no, that's still got that vibe, hasn't it? Okay, plumber, and it can, the message still holds true, but there's this sharing of information, this allowing those who don't know to find out and know, which I think, especially after focusing more on setting things right, we're going to need to know how to do lots and lots and lots of things. But what is really interesting is the inside degree, or the Chandra symbol. So we have a large brown bear picking and eating apples. It's like, okay, yeah, what? But the interpretation of this, I'm just going to read it straight out because you'll see why when I get towards the end of it. Gross indulgence and a conscience that just won't quit, saturating your energy field with exaggerated gestures of capitulation to your own lower nature. But you do this in a continual ironic juxtaposition to an observing intelligence and a keen conscience which deplore and have no use for your own shenanigans. So you're literally stuffing your face with chocolate while another bit of your brain is going, why are you eating all of that chocolate? It's not going to do you any good. So being split between the compulsive and addictive personality and the dispassionate and icily removed consciousness, you're trying to turn yourself around by alternately binging and reforming, a bit like crash dieting. But each binge triggers a reaction of the other side of mind, and each renunciation and reformation in turn triggers a further reaction from the first piece of mind. This dialectic between being bad and being good is all on the pro and con level of the dualistic mind. The only hope in this pattern lies in wearing out both ends, so that a third place can open up in which neither acting out nor becoming exemplary is all that's necessary. You do what you do, and you see it the way that you see it. And all of the self-conscious overlays and each and every self-manipulation in whatever direction dissolve when the space is clear. So I know that I've mentioned on previous videos about how very divided we are in society nowadays. It doesn't matter where in the world that you look, there is divisions rampant, whether you want to say Democrat, Republican, Brexiteer, Remainer, look at Myanmar. But this energy, that symbol, that idea of wearing out both sides while we are learning how to do things better, because those who have a time to teach now are led to actually teach and teach everybody else, whether it is how to get in touch with your angels and how to get in touch with God, or how to sort out a septic tank and sort out your plumbing, or carve a chair, or recycle whatever, or change the way that you're fishing, farming, hunting, what have you. All of these things, the very structure of our economy, as we know with the virus, is under question at the moment. And so there is going to be, and there is already to a certain extent, if you look at the right websites and email newsletters and what have you, a absolute cacophony of good ideas about how to move forward. All of this under the watchful eye of Luvia, who, let me see, what was the phrase again? Who has an expansive intelligence, brings things to fruition, and knows how to dial God. So I would say that in itself is a superpower, So if you if you are a fixed sign, I've forgotten, where's my cheat sheet? Aquarius, let's have a look. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get it wrong. And it's not on my, fixed signs. Here you are, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, or Scorpio. On a basic mundane day-to-day level, you can expect to get affected by this stellium through conjunction, through square, through opposition. But pretty much it's going to affect all of us. This is a global thing. The last time this sort of stellium in Aquarius occurred was in 1962. And we know how pivotal the 60s were for creating a shift in our society, even if things seem to have shifted back since then. So if you are familiar with your chart, if you know your rising sign, and if you don't, there is a link, well, there's two links in the description down below for where to get a free birth chart. Have a look which house Aquarius sits in for you. I use whole sign houses, if that means anything to you. So for me, it's all in the 8th house. Or if you go by my sun sign, it's all in my 12th house. Oh, I'm expecting plenty of revelations coming along. And I must admit, my astrology studies have been just going, well, my degree angel studies, let's put it that way. I keep having moment after moment of, oh, I can do it this. Oh, I didn't think of looking at that. Oh, and what does this mean if I look at this? So there's like revelation after revelation already. And the new moon isn't even here yet. But there's whichever house you Aquarius is for you, that's where you can expect quite a bit of activity. If you've got natal planets in that area, opposite to that area, or basically in the cardinal signs, that will this stellium will have an immense personal effect. And again, that all sounds like random things, but go to the link AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology in the description down below, and get yourself a birth chart, and hopefully you'll make more sense of if what I'm saying sounds a little obscure, because I'll hold my hand up. I'm only just starting to understand the houses in this last 6 months. Before then, I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about. Right, so I've done the saving symbol. I'm just checking my notes. So remember, this reading is a general reading. So general reading rules apply. It should mainly be there as a confirmation for you, or just something for you to mull over. What I would, never make your mind up on what I say. Just take it under advisement and then consider it, and then make your mind up, but don't just do it because I said do it. Even though I have already done a reading for this new moon where I'm telling somebody to just do it. But, it's still your choice, not mine. Now, what I would like you to do beforehand is ask a question. So especially really with this, ask a question that relates to how you interact with your community, or relates to obviously new moon, new beginnings, or entire new directions of life, because it's such a big event. This, unlike last year where it was event after event after event, this year, this is the pretty much biggest one. And other than Saturn square Uranus, but that's going on all year. So, there isn't like a whack bang like there is with this one. So take a moment, think about all of the questions that are around you. Focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them, because the cards will answer whatever they choose, and not necessarily what you or I think are the most priority of questions. So, as ever, please do the good YouTube stuff. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel really, really does help. Then again, so does the like button. But more importantly, comment. Let me know once I get to the reading, what you, if the reading is good for you. But also let me know what you think about my view of looking at the degree angels for the astrology, because, well, I'm going to keep doing it because I find it absolutely fascinating. But I want to know, should I just shut up about it and do it in private, or should I continue talking about this stuff as I get to learn more? Because, again, hold my hand up, I'm a total beginner at this. So, I think that's everything. So timestamp will be for now. And let's get on and have a look at your cards. Okay, Virgo, everything's ending. Everything's stumped. I think I'm going to return to the main camera already because there's quite a dramatic start to this reading. Here in the middle, you have death, clarified by the Four of Swords. You have been ground to a standstill because things are changing, things are ending. And I'm looking at this, I'm going to assume it's a groundhog, it could be a beaver. And I'm immediately brought to thought of Puscatawny Phil, or Pete, or whatever his name is, because we've just had Groundhog Day, and he saw his shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. So again, there's that sense of everything being held up, and it's almost like you've been frozen in place. However, I don't think that this is a bad thing. What Spirit's bringing in for you is we have the Wheel of Fortune with, actually, that's maybe not a great help, with the Seven of Cups. So we have intense luck, good or bad. But I'm thinking good, depending on the choice that you go for, because you are being called to walk away from something. 8 of Cups here, so that you can have a new beginning. 8 of Cups clarified by the Fool. And I think this thing that you're walking away from is pretty much already dead. We have the Death card here, right in the center of the spread. Now, this whole process is very much making you aware of what you value and what is important to you. We have 6 of Pentacles for how you're feeling, clarified by the 10 of Pentacles. So I don't think that there's any form of debt. There may be some act of you performing charity, but I'm feeling more that it's you're appreciating the value of certain things that you hadn't necessarily appreciated the value of before, and all of a sudden you'd taken them for granted before, and all of a sudden their importance is so much bigger for you, because it's quite possible that recently someone had made you some form of friendly offer, or some form of wanted to get you involved in a project where they wanted your assistance, or they wanted to engage you in a relationship, whether that's romantic or a friendship or a business partnership or what have you. Let's be honest, they weren't entirely honest with their motives, were they? They really could have been underhand in the way that they had approached you, or in the reasons that they had approached you. And it's quite possible that this is what's changing at the moment. I really feel that this cup that's being offered by this Page of Cups here is what you are walking away from with this 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, because it just doesn't feel, being clarified by the 7 of Swords, it just doesn't feel right. And it's almost like you're saying, yeah, no, forget it, I've had enough. And you worry that you have been lied to, or, well, I'm not going to say or, and you worry that you are lying to yourself in this situation. But I would accept the change that is happening, because let's face it, you can't do a great deal about it. There's too much argy-bargy, there's too much arguments. It's one very, very strong feminine figure that's helping create an obstacle. Queen of Wands under the Five of Wands here. They're standing in your way. Now, I don't think that they are necessarily the person who lied to you. They could be the person who has managed to point out the lie, and hence everything is tumbling down. But it's almost like you really want something out of your apartment, but you get home and you find out that there's a murder that has occurred there, and so the police tape off the area and you can't get your phone charger. You know, so because let's face it, what's more precious to us nowadays than our phone chargers? This, I don't think that this person is necessarily a deliberate obstacle as an attack on you, but nonetheless, they are an obstacle. They are standing in your way. But standing in your way of what? Because you have a lot of options coming up for you. You have a lot of options the moment you walk away from this situation where you were lied to. People are seeing this as a chance for you to come into your own power, and actually you can they believe you can take advantage of the current situation. I would say yes, you can, but that's mainly by walking away from it and choosing one of the other options that are there. But I think you're going to have a hypersensitivity to any of allowing somebody the chance to lie to you in whatever you move forward with. But there are definitely people that you trust. Two of Wands here. It's I assume that's Jack and somebody, probably Jill. Growing the magic bean of the beanstalk. So there's great heights. If you choose, there's great heights that you can ascend to, and it will put an end to a matter that seems to have been going on for quite some time, possibly this matter, and why everything is frozen and everything stopped moving. But basically, and this is probably what I'm going to call the reading, with this card, the only way is up. If you want to go mix with the giants, you need to go up. Actually, yeah, I might use that as a title, if I remember it by the end of the reading. So I drew, for your hopes and fears cards, you had the devil. So you're worried that you're locked into things as well. And I drew Seven of Swords, which here is Andromalius, who returns stolen items and punishes thieves and reveals hidden treasures, which really fits with the theme of the reading. So again, there's that fear that you've been lied to, or that you may be lying to yourself now. Whatever this situation is that's falling apart, or that is changing, that is ending, let it go. There are plenty of options to move forward. And what I want you to do is be worthy of the faith that someone else is putting in you, because someone else believes that you have the ability to be an authority that they would listen to. So there may be an element of taking on something new, but I can't see a Ten of Wands anywhere, so it's not a great burden. And what is really nice is at the very end, this is something that you find you have the ability to commit to, and you will be recognized. Sorry, I'll get out of the way of the insert screen. You will be recognized. We've got the Three of Pentacles as the main card there. So the main thrust forward, something grounded, something material, practical, real world, with the Four of Wands, where a treehouse has been created by a father for his daughter, where there is celebration and commitment. So there is a wonderful new path opening up for you if you accept that you need to walk away from this current situation, whatever it is. However, with the way that you're being blocked, walking away, this Eight of Cups, might not be immediately an option. But at first possible chance, you want to get the hell on out of there. That's another thing I can another thing I could call the reading. So we have now. Here's where and why I've been so very adamant about the the walking away and the new option. We have expect powerful change. We have Sandalphon, the angel of new life, saying, go create a new life. The angel of peace here, I open my heart and rest in the peace of divine love. You, in this situation, appear safe. Whoever may have lied to you doesn't necessarily appear quite so safe, or what they have tried to create with you doesn't appear quite so safe. But you can use this situation to come into your own power. We have the full moon power card here. But as I say, there's another reason why everything's slowed down. And another reason why I think that this strong feminine character who is an obstacle to for you, but I do not think is deliberately trying to be an obstacle for you. They are being an obstacle to something that they've seen that is wrong, and you're caught up in all that and stuck in it. The Medusa card here, representing feminine energy, but also represents to me, if you know the story of Medusa, do not take things on first appearance. Medusa was a priestess of Athena, and she was raped in one of Athena's temples by, was it Poseidon? Athena caught them in the act and assumed that Medusa had betrayed her vows of celibacy and basically the whole, basically, what are you doing sleeping with somebody in my temple? This is supposed to be sacred in a completely different way to that act. So Athena took it as a complete disrespect and disregard, not knowing that Medusa had been forced. So don't take everything on first appearances, which also speaks volumes about what you had recently been told that I believe is coming to light now. But it speaks volumes about how you are going to approach the future as well. But finally, and this is what everybody wants in the tarot readings on YouTube, let's be honest, we've got the love card from Wisdom of the House of Night. And I rather feel that somewhere along the line, this whole experience that's going on helps forge a really deep friendship or relationship with somebody. Relationship, big R or little r, or it deepens an already existing love that's there. Because these all, despite all this nightmare that seems to be going on in the middle, you are fine. You are absolutely fine. You are untouched by this and will be untouched by this as long as you accept where the lies are and at the first possible opportunity, get on out of there. That's it. That's everything that I can see. So if that means anything to you, Virgo, comment down below. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And go and watch your moon or your rising signs. And remember, there's a timestamp. You don't have to watch me waffle twice. All right? Cheers.